I was saying a few months ago, a bunch of us were sitting in a cafe around the corner, and we were chatting to Phil, and Phil was telling us about his ideas around this event, about the idea of trying to get together a bunch of people who wanted to talk about growing, attracting talent and retaining talent. And my mind immediately turned to some of the things that we've been trying to do around coaching internal staff at Clearleft, which is where I work. And as the title probably suggests, we're on a bit of a journey there. It's something we're having to learn how to do. I think if I go back, 3 or 4 years, I think we all felt like coaching junior members of staff was something we wanted to do, and given enough time we would commit to. But the reality was it was more of a kind of duty or obligation, and it was slipping through the cracks. Fast forward to today, and I think we think very differently about that. We see it now as a really important way for us to actually grow our business. It's a way to create sort of a lot of sense of loyalty amongst our team and also fulfillment. And I like the term, I think you used it this morning, about a business flourishing, and it seemed to point towards that direction. So we're on a bit of a journey here, and I was going to talk a little bit about what we've been doing. So I work for a company called Clearleft. That looks a bit more like it. We're born and bred in Brighton. We're I think we're about 11 years old now. We specialise in digital product design and strategy, and we do a lot of user experience design to support that. I'm going to challenge that notion that there are no careers in the workplace anymore. I've been there for 10 years. And I put that down to the fact that Clearleft keep challenging me. So I do believe you can have a career at one place. There's about 25 to 30 people at Clearleft, and I think that's a really important number in terms of why coaching has become an important part of what we're doing. And I'll come back to that in a sec. So I'm going to just tell you something about my daughter. She's a budding athlete, and she currently trains up at the Withdean Athletics track up in North Brighton. And I went to watch the other day, and she was trying to learn how to do triple jump. And anyone who's tried to learn how to do triple jump will tell you it's actually quite hard. There's this sort of weird sequence of counterintuitive steps that it's really hard to get used to. But sort of 10, 15 minutes in, she was getting it. And at the end of the session, she came over to me, and she was just so happy. And she said to me, "Dad, I think I've got a new superpower." And this just made me really happy, basically, just these little things. But the sense that I got from her was that this new technique, this new skill that she had just opened up this kind of world of possibilities for her. And there was this confidence exuding from her, this kind of sense of like self-esteem that there was this new possibilities available to her. And I think we've all kind of experienced I hope we've all experienced moments like that in our professional careers when you suddenly realise that you've been pushed to the edge of your abilities for a while, but that you've suddenly developed this new skill and this new opportunity lies in front of you. I personally find those some of the most rewarding moments. And what kind of characterises those experiences for me, it certainly did with Jemima, my daughter, was that she had someone guiding her through that process. She had a coach, someone who was giving her the support when things didn't go so well, and then someone who was also encouraging her along the way. So coaching is something that we've built into our client services. Part of our role is to deliver digital products, but part of our role is to help teams upskill and develop the confidence and the capability to do those things themselves. We do a lot of that by borrowing some of the techniques from kind of paired programming. So we'll partner different disciplines together. And what I've noticed is that when you get these kind of breakthrough moments, when someone you're working with realizes they have this new talent or superpower, it tends to ripple out to the rest of the team. It's not just that one person that benefits. It's actually pretty infectious. I've seen it just create this enormous energy in a team, sort of enthusiasm, and that kind of momentum just boosts everyone around them. I guess it's that kind of spirit of adventure that you're instilling in a team, that they can go out and do new things. And I love that idea of there being some kind of virtuous circle there to work on. I've forgotten the slide, sorry. It's infectious. The next thing I would say is that when you get to this point, when you're working with someone, you see the fact that they've developed these new skills, or a superpower, as I've been saying, they're really keen to tell others about that. They want to share what they know. They want to advocate these skills to other people, and eventually they become coaches or teachers themselves. And I think this is really building into this idea that coaching can have more than a one-way effect on a person. It can actually have a compound effect on the team. And with this kind of virtuous circle going on where the learners become advocates themselves, you start to see it get its own energy. So what about the coach themselves? There was a picture there. It's gone. Anyway, so coaching is often viewed as a very one-way thing. You'll go to someone to learn a new skill, and you'll leave with that new skill. My experience of this is it's actually the opposite. I hope this quote demonstrates it. If you're the person that's advocating a new skill to someone, you really need to be in a position where you can teach them and understand that skill and master it. So I see it as a kind of two-way model. There's actually the kind of reciprocal benefit of not only giving someone a new skill, but also having to learn how to communicate that skill to someone. And that's when you really have to sort of understand your discipline. Yeah. So given the fact that I'm extolling all these benefits of coaching, I'm going to make a sort of, I'm going to admit to something here, which is that we kind of struggled to actually instill this into the culture at Clearleft. And I don't think we're alone. I think this kind of quote demonstrates it. This is Daniel Goleman, who's probably most well known for the concepts around emotional intelligence. He sort of identified that there's sort of 6 different leadership styles: coercive, authoritative, affiliative, democratic, pace-setting, and coaching was the last one. And as this quote demonstrates, people really struggle to instill it in their teams, normally because they just don't feel like they have that time. Ironically, it's also the one that seemed, according to Daniel's paper, has the biggest impact. So I don't think we're alone in the fact that it's a difficult thing to transition towards. And the way we did that was really through a happy accident. This is 2 of my colleagues, Jeremy, who's our technical director on the left there, and Charlotte Jackson, who until recently was one of our front-end developers. And I suppose like all discoveries, all good discoveries, it was something we found out by accident. Jeremy had a lot of spare time. He's a pretty accomplished public speaker, and he happened to be between projects. And at that point, he had enough time to dedicate to spending time with Charlotte. And he used that to coach her when she joined the company. The interesting thing was that within 6 months, Charlotte was delivering coaching to our clients with us. Jeremy was experiencing new levels of fulfillment in the organisation, things that he'd never thought he was going to be doing, he was suddenly mastering again. And I think we realised that we'd stumbled into a successful experiment, albeit unintentionally. And it's this relationship that we've tried to borrow now and instill as a little bit more of a habit in the organisation. So I guess my message is you don't always have to look outside to grow talent. You can look inside. Someone talked about the idea of a self-learning culture earlier on, which I think this points towards. And actually now I like to think of us as an organisation that can try and enable an environment in which people can learn faster than anywhere else. That seems to be something that others want to do as well, and that enables us to attract people into the business. Growth-wise, obviously you can develop more skills, but you can also develop confidence amongst the team, this idea of self-esteem, and it also gives you this huge sense of momentum. And in terms of retaining talent, I think this is where it's really benefited the senior members of the team who realise that to master that art, they need to be able to teach it to others. We're still on this journey, but I'm really enjoying it at the moment, and I think it's something I could recommend wholeheartedly to others. I'm more than happy to talk about it later. I'll hand over to the next person.